Hey guys, welcome back to How to Repair guys. Thank you guys for watching and subscribing to the channel. Today will be super helpful video to any of you having any car guys, any car with gasoline engine. If you have one that starts cold, okay, with no problems, then you let it, let's say you stop somewhere, you try to restart your car, it does not start, or it takes a long time to start, or maybe when it starts it sounds funny, it idles rough. Stay with us, we'll explain top things that can cause that and how to fix it. All that will be covered in this video today. Now, one of those things can practically destroy your engine, so make sure to stand till the end and we'll explain what it is. Before we start, let me tell you a little bit about us. Every single car we get at the garage, we try to make at least 200 to 300 free repair videos. Why? Simply because our mission in the shop is to save you as much money as we can. All we need in return, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, that way we can keep providing this free information to you. Now, if you need to buy parts, tools to fix your car for a good price and quick shipping, check out the link in the description of the video below. We'll share it for your convenience. So this right here guys, it's a GDI engine that we have out of a Hyundai Kia, but it doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter what engine you have, it will work on almost all of them. Now let's talk what can cause that. Let's say you start the car, okay, you start it, cold engine in the morning, fires right up, no problem. Then you turn it off and it doesn't start again, or it takes a long time. What can cause that now? Okay, in some cases guys, okay, it could be engine computer. This is an engine computer right here, and the engine computer, what could happen guys, okay, when it's cold it works fine, but when it runs it gets warm, and usually it's close to the engine bay as well, on top of the engine, side of the engine, or somewhere under the hood. And when it gets warm, okay, resistance increases, and what can happen guys, actually, okay, it can start malfunctioning. So when the engine gets warm and you turn it off, it may not work correctly the second time. It could be even blocking the immobilizer. Number two, it could be guys problem with the fuel pump. Why? Simple, because let's say the fuel pump in the fuel tank. Now nowadays gasoline engines with the direct fuel injection, they have two fuel pumps, one on top of the engine usually, that's known as a direct fuel injection pump, and one in the fuel tank that delivers fuel to the high pressure pump on top of the engine. Now usually if your car does not start when it's hot, okay, it's most likely that you have a bad fuel pump in the fuel tank. That's known as a low pressure fuel pump. So let's talk about that now. When it's cold, the pump turns fine and it will send fuel, so the car will start, even if you have a direct fuel injection or non-direct fuel injection engine. But if you turn the car off and it doesn't start, okay, it could be a bad pump, because when the pump runs for a long time it gets warm. The motor, it's a motor guys, electric motor, it gets warm, and with heat resistance increases as well. As a result, when you turn it off, it can kind of like seize until it cools, and it may start again. Okay, and when it's cold it may work, sometimes it may not. It really depends on how it gets stuck. Now, so that can indicate problems with the fuel pump as well. Number three, okay, let's say you turn the car off and then it takes probably a long time guys, okay, to actually start, 5 to 10 seconds. It could be because your car is losing fuel pressure, so you will need to test the fuel pressure sensor and see that you have a steady fuel pressure. Let's say regular car's MPI injection system works somewhere around 40 psi. Direct fuel injection is about 400 psi. If you don't have pressure in the system, it means that the fuel is leaking back in the fuel tank, back to the fuel tank, and that could indicate problems, okay, with fuel pressure regulators, okay, or problems with the fuel pump. Often the fuel pressure regulator is integrated in the fuel pump on modern cars. Now, another thing guys, okay, number four, let's say the car starts slow again, and when it starts it sounds funny, it misfires, it's rough idling. Here's a rough idle. What can cause that? It could be in some cases leaking fuel injector. Leaking fuel injector will leak fuel in the cylinder when the car is turned off. It will make the spark plug wet, so that cylinder will be misfiring at first, and you will lose fuel pressure in the fuel system, and as a result it will take a few seconds for the fuel pump to build pressure again, and one cylinder will be wet, so the car will be misfiring. That will cause a rich fuel mixture, which will be detected by the upstream oxygen sensor, and from there it will send information to the engine computer that it needs to decrease the amount of fuel because we have rich fuel mixture, which will result into rough running engine, and when the spark plug dries, all of a sudden things will start going back to normal and it will start idling again. But leaking fuel injector can destroy your engine in two ways. One, when the fuel injector leaks, usually the fuel will make its way around the fuel rings, it will go straight to the oil pan, and if you pull your dipstick and the fuel and the oil level on the dipstick is increasing, it's above the full mark, that could indicate you have fuel in the oil, guys. And also, if you smell the dipstick, you smell the oil in the dipstick and see if it smells like gasoline, it feels diluted, it's very likely you have gasoline. And when it dilutes the oil, that can actually, guys, make the oil lose its lubricating capabilities. It will put wear on bearings, on crankshaft, main bearings, on piston rings, on the cylinder head, and that can practically destroy your engine. Number two, it can even water seize your engine, because if the injector is leaking really bad to the point that it can all of a sudden empty itself in the car and you try to restart it before the fuel leaks back to the oil pan, what could happen at that point, you will have water in the combustion chamber, fluid, you have gasoline that will not be able to compress, and you can bend connecting rod or snap connecting rod. So those are the most common things we see at the shop. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to let us know. We'll have videos, guys, how to do quite a few things. Another thing that can cause that, it could be problems with crankshaft position sensor. Sometimes when crankshaft position sensors get hot, it can actually, guys, affect the starting capability of the car as well. Another thing, could be bad camshaft position sensors, and sometimes you have 1, 2, 3, 4, depending on the engine. On 4-cylinder engines nowadays, newer ones, you will have 2 camshaft sensors, one on the intake side, one right here on the, let me focus, down there on the exhaust camshaft sensor as well, guys. So you will have multiple sensors. Now we'll have a special video how to test camshaft position sensor and crankshaft position sensor on our channel as well. Hopefully the video will be helpful. Thank you for watching and see you guys next time.